Hello everyone, welcome back to Para3D Tutorials. In this video I'll try to cover new features of snapshot tool which we added in Para3D 4.5. So if you're running the latest version of Para3D, you probably noticed that we have moved the snapshot tools from the add-on menu to Para menu. Well, that basically means the snapshot tool can generate the snapshots from given arrays, and then it saves them as new members of a new parametric array. And then from there you can take them members from the snapshot tool and put them in another array and do some other stuff. Okay, so let's create a rectangle on top view, and we're going to set the length to 320 or 360 centimeter, and the width is going to be 180 centimeter. Okay, and also I get rid of this grid. Also create a circle with radius of 18 centimeter. I can go less, 12 centimeter should be fine. Okay, what I'm trying to do is to array the circles within this rectangle, as it's going to be a metal sheet with a bunch of holes in it. So let's go ahead and array the circle. This should be a two-dimensional array, so we put the, for now, 10 by 20. We'll keep that copy because I would like to remove some of them by adding the delete mesh modifier. So before that, let's get back to our circle and add a delete mesh modifier, and make sure you disable this. This modifier allows us to remove the circle when you turn on the modifier, and where you like to keep the circle you just switch off the modifier. So this way you can basically control wherever you need that circle to be or not. So now I can just go and create the array 10 by 20, and we don't need the original object. Okay, so we will have our linear controller on a position, just to see the how the circles are working. It looks good, but it's just many of them, so I'm going to reduce the number of the circles in order to fit them in this rectangle. Before that, we need to set the linear controller in incremental mode, so when we reduce the number of members, these corners will just move backward into the rectangle. So now let's go back there. We need to update this, and we go back here, remove the check from the position, so we can now decide how many of these we would like to have. Okay, so let's just remove the extra circles. Okay, that looks good, and then we come back and we have all that. Okay, now I'll just need to make sure they're in the center of the rectangle. To do that, I'll just select all the members. We group them, and then use align function of 3D Max here, and then we pick the rectangle. It's going to place the entire group exactly in the center of the rectangle by choosing X and Y position and choosing the center of group to center of the rectangle. And then you can just press OK, and now we should go back and ungroup these circles. We don't want them to be grouped. Now we have the circles on the right place. Also, in order to realize this panel, you have to allow some gap between the circles, so you can cut the circles out of the rectangle. So for that, I'm going to reduce the circle size by adjusting the radius. and I allow 2 centimeter gap, so the value of this should be 1 centimeter less. So now you have a 2 centimeter gap between each circle. Alright, that looks good. So here in delete mesh modifier, we can decide which circles needs to be removed or which circles we not like to maintain. Well, let's say if I add a random controller and I press update button, every time that I update this array, I get a different pattern of these circles. What I will like to do is to have a series of these panels which I can control the density of the openings, and for that we need to adjust the parameter, the chance parameter. So if you have more chance, let's say if you have this slider on the right side, the more true value will be passed by this controller to delete mesh. So it's going to turn on the delete mesh, and that will force 3D Max to remove the circle from the scene, as we know here. And if you like to have a sort of more dense pattern, you're going to send less true value and more false value to delete mesh, so you get more circles in the scene. Since we know the logic and how it works, we can control that chance parameter by another controller. But notice that controller that you're providing in this channel should pass a value between 0 to 100, because the chance parameter is a percentage. So 100% will always generate true value, and 0% will always generate false value. So the idea is to generate different pattern with different densities, and then attach all the circles to the rectangle and convert them to editable mesh or something like that. As you know, we have the circles in this array, but we don't have anything in Para 3D that refer to the rectangle. So let's go back to the scene, select the rectangle, and hit the Para button, and make sure and choose assign controller to create a parametric node out of this rectangle, so we can access the rectangle within our Para 3D. Okay, this is my rectangle. Let's just rename that so we can easily find them. And this is the circles. Okay, so we can attach the circles to rectangle by a compound node. So create the compound, and we call this compound shape. We're gonna receive the shapes from a Para node, so we choose the Para. We put the rectangle in the first channel and the circles in the second, and obviously we need to have all items of B, which is our circles, to be attached to the rectangle. So we just choose the third option, and the output we like to have it as a shape, and make sure you have this regenerate compounds objects active. If I press the generate compound object, and you can see that if I select the members, I'm gonna have one spline shape, one editable spline like that. Okay, the next step is to create a snapshot tool. Remember, we are using Para 3D 4.5, so you should go under Para menu and hit the snapshot. For the snapshot, we need a node. We can pass our compound shape. we can have multiple paranodes, but in this case we have only one. And as for the type, we have different options. It depends on what kind of objects you're passing through the snapshot. You can create different type of snapshots. You're interested in editable mesh, we'll just select that one, and then leave this perform Boolean operation with all members unchecked. As you can see here, this is a new function in snapshot tool, which allows you to create multiple snapshots in a row, and every time that it creates a new snapshots, let's say if I want 10 different snapshots here, every time it passes a number, which is the index of that snapshots that being created, to a parameter we're going to add in this channel, which is called the loop parameters. And this parameter will be useful to manipulate the pattern over here for the snapshot that's being created. So so now I'm going to show you how to use this functionality. We're going to assign a custom parameter. This is the only controller that you can use in this channel. You can't use any other controller. That's the only controller that will work. Once you assign this custom parameter, you can see that there's no sliders, there's nothing here. It says it's a loop parameter, so we just call it loop parameter. Well, again, if the snapshot is creating 10 different snapshots, it will, every time it create a new snapshot, it sends that index to this parameter. So for the first snapshot, we will have this parameter set to 1, and for the second snapshot is going to carry the value 2, and so on. So I'm going to use this to adjust my density. So I know that I'm going to have numbers between 1 and 10 because I'm going to create 10 different snapshots. So I want to convert these numbers from 1 to 10 to 0 to 100, because that's what I need in the chance controller. So that is very easy. You can just create a range controller and connect it to chance, and here we're going to put that value in the range controller, and within range controller settings we'll have the input range, which it's from 1 to 10, and what we need is something from 0 to 100. Now go back to snapshot tool. It's very essential when you're using that snapshot tool to generate multiple snapshots. You must uncheck this option and use the second update for the reason for that is we need to update this arrays, all these arrays, before we create the snapshot. So that's how we can get a new pattern. Otherwise, if we don't update those paranodes underneath of the snapshot tool, you always get the same pattern in your snapshot. And to see the result, we're going to move that snapshots every time that we create by let me see how much was the, okay, 180. We can just move them by 200. Okay, now we are ready to create all the snapshots. It will take a few seconds because there's a lots of operation. This has to go through it. Okay, it's working, and now we have 10 different snapshots from 0%, which creates a panel with all circles inside, and all the way to 100% that it's a solid panel, there's no circle. So the good thing about the snapshot tool is that it keeps all these snapshots as new members of this node. So I can go back there and select the members, and I can see now I have an array. I have a new array with 10 members here that I can use these members within another array. This would be very helpful when you working on things like a curtain wall or any when you're panelizing a surface, and you don't want to have an individual pattern for each panel. You just want to have 10 standards panel that you can choose from, so you can optimize your design in order to reduce the cost of fabrication. If you like to know how to use the members of one array within another array, there are already tutorials for Para 3D 4.4 in our website, so please go ahead and check it out. If you have any question, feel free to post it on Para 3D 4. Thank you for watching.